Good morning from the Flying Can Ranch at Cedar Creek Lake, Texas. Um, Tried to make this video yesterday. I had some complications. Not really sure what brought it up. Got very frustrated, walked away. We're going to talk about something that I've already talked about. We'll get it out. We'll look at it. But I want to show you some tricks here. This is going to be kind of a lengthy video. I'm going to try to get through as quickly as possible. So here we have the Daisy Model 44, and I've already reviewed this gun, but just as a cap, these were made from, I believe, 87 to 2001. It was a 177 caliber CO2. It fired out at about 400 feet per second, and overall length was about 13.1, and this is with the 6-inch barrel. Now, I had mentioned at that time that they made it in a pack where you could get a 6-inch, an 8-inch, and a 4-inch. So, and other little goodies agore. So, what do I have here? And I want to be very careful not to drop this like I did the last time. Lo and behold, I have the 8-inch barrel. And lo and behold, I also have, I don't even know if this has been out of the package yet. It doesn't appear to have. I have the little 4-inch barrel. Also included, and I'll throw this over here. I got 2 sets of these, by the way. The barrel tool and what's called the cylinder spacer. So this is what this video is going to be about primarily. And I have a saw blade, and I have that for a reason. Is I'm going to show you what I ran into. So what we're going to do is, if you look at the end of that, you'll see some little grooves. I'm going to do this a little slower so I don't drop anything. I had dropped these yesterday. We'll remove the magazine clip, whatever you want to call it. You're going to take your little barrel tool and you're going to catch those grooves just like that, and you will start to loosen the barrel. I'm going to try to do this with my jacked up hand here, and you're going to get this barrel nut out, and I can already see something happening that we're going to talk about. Let me move this over here to speed this process up a little bit. And this is kind of a, whoops, wrong way, Vance. So we'll get the barrel nut up so far. And personally, between you and me, I'll get it right about there. I'll lay down my barrel tool, and I can get the rest of this off pretty quick on my own accord. So as we come up, there's your barrel nut. At this point in time, you're going to slide the barrel off like so. We're going to lay that right there for the time being. And then you're going to unscrew your barrel like this. This is the 6-inch. And it goes in there quite a bit. It's a fine thread. And then once I get that out, I'm going to tuck that back inside the 6-inch so we don't lose anything. Set this down very carefully to pick this up. This is where I had the problem yesterday. And I'm going to see if we have the same problem today. Because I could not, come on now, leaving this open, you're going to insert this and very carefully make sure you don't cross thread it, and that'll start to feed in. Ultimately, what you want to do is screw that in like so, and so far, but I would get to where it would almost come through, and then for some goofy reason, now you're going to see where it's starting to come out over here. Now, ideally, what you're supposed to be able to do is you take this spacing tool, and you can see I've already driven the barrel down too far. I'm going to back it up just a little bit. So if I move my finger without dropping this thing, you can see where the spacing tool is right into there. And you want that barrel to barely touch the spacing tool, which is exactly what it's doing now. Now, as a test, you can put your magazine back in like so, and then try to close the gun. Get that all the way up. And there's no gap between the magazine and the actual barrel. Now, here's what I've ran into on the 6. We're going to see if it happens with the 8. Now, there's little tabs on each side of this, and there's tabs on each side of this little barrel piece right here. So we're going to slide that on until they go in just like that. Now here comes a little bit of a, please be patient with me. In order to get this to screw in, it takes a little bit of rolling the barrel around and getting it kind of centered so that this will screw in, and it's kind of tricky. I may have actually got it. Oh, quite luckily. And you're going to screw this down in there. I want to look. Now, this barrel isn't seeming to move, and I'm going to explain to you what I mean. I think I can drive that in there just a little bit more with just using my thumbnail. Because sometimes, and I'll show you what I ran into with a 6-inch, and we're going to switch it back around. So far, it looks good. We'll get our little barrel tool, and we're going to drive this down in there like so. Down, 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 down. Tighten it up. You don't get to get crazy with it. You really don't have to like torque that thing. We're going to get our magazine again, clip, whatever you want to call it. We're going to install it, and it should get up in there. Perfect. No gapping. Perfect fit. Wow, there you go. There it is, 8-inch barrel. Perfect. Looks good. Magazine or clip is turning. I do not have a CO2 in here, by the way, and it's unsafe anyway. So now I'm going to show you what I ran into with the 6-inch barrel. We're going to be very quickly at this because eventually when I do the test shot, we're going to put the 8-inch back on it. But I'm going to show you what I ran into with the 6-inch. And a little frustrating, but I figured out a way around it. Kind of, sort of. Bring that up. Put that tool down. We're going to take this off. We're going to very quickly put this down. And then we're going to slide this off. We'll put it right here for the time being. We're going to dislocate the 8-inch barrel. And I might make a video later on where I go through the different barrels for the accuracy test. I have never shot this. To be honest with you, I don't even know if it was gas yet. I was just glad to get the pack, everything. And I got the instruction manuals. I got all kinds of stuff with this. So I'm going to very carefully put this back in here. Put it back into its screw slot in the case. Now we're going to get the 6-inch barrel, and I'm going to show you what I ran into with the 6-inch barrel. Now remember, I forgot to mention on these barrels right here, there's a thin area of threading, and there's a longer, a shorter, and a longer. Always make sure you screw in the longer that goes into the gun. The barrel nut will go onto this one. Yes, that was a mosquito. They just seem to love me. So again, I'm going to pop this off, remove the magazine. We're going to screw in the barrel, just as prescribed. And it's going in there quite quickly. It's going to come out. And I'm going to use my barrel gauge again. Slide it up in there. I'm going to tighten this down just a little bit more to where it just touches that. Now I'm going to loosen that a hair so the barrel gauge will fall right out. Okay. Now, At this stage of the game, I can put my magazine in, and it should, wow, perfect, perfect. But I'm going to show you something that I ran into. So we're going to slide. Now this happened with a 6-inch. It didn't do it with 8 inches, you just saw. And it may not do it again on this one. We're going to slide our 6-inch barrel back on, and it's in place. We're going to grab our barrel nut, and we're going to try to get lucky twice, which may not happen. This is the hardest part of the whole operation. Okay, now the barrel nut is going on. I'm screwing it down on there. It's caught a few times. And we're right about here. I'm going to feel good about putting my tool in and screwing it on. Just like so. And come on. This tool should have went straight across like a wide screwdriver in my opinion, but we'll get it on there. Slowly roll a little bit. Man, once it gets down in there a little bit, it doesn't have a tendency to slide off so much. So we got almost there, almost there. This thing's in really excellent condition. It's very good condition. Okay, we've tightened that up. Now what's going to happen is you're going to see that this thing came in quite a bit because it started turning the barrel. So you will see that as I put my magazine back in, boom, you're going to hit that back of that barrel. We're going to show you what I came up with to rectify that. So if you ever get one of these, you run into this, I'm going to help you along. I'm going to loosen this barrel nut up again, and we're going to get it, see, it's not coming back off the barrel too much. We'll spin this around. We'll spin this around. You'll see what I'm talking about here in just a minute. We're going to have to take the barrel nut all the way back off again. We're going to remove the barrel, and you're going to see where, again, if I put my mag in there, close it, it hits. So in this case, I'm going to turn the barrel back, and I'm going to visualize it. And I'm going to get it to where I feel I can close the magazine, okay? But I'm going to continue to pull it back some more. You could actually put it right about there, but in this case, what I'm going to do is, I wish I would have found a gap gauging set. I'm going to implant this saw blade through here like so. Now we're going to pull the saw blade through, and I'm going to back this barrel off just a little bit more. So you'll have just a little gap off in this saw blade. This is what I came up with. Somebody might send me a message and say, oh no, that's not how you do it. This is one of my 2 o'clock in the morning ideas. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go that way with it. Maybe. Very carefully. Okay, it feels like I've hit with the barrel nut. We're going to go down. And I backed it up a little ways from the saw blade. Saw blade is still moving a little freely. Like I said, I wish I would have got my hands on a good gap gauging set or something of that nature. We'll get our little tool, and we're going to go to town very slowly. Now I've put some oil on these threads. When I got it, they were very, very stiff. I use some pill oil. I also use some one of the greatest oils ever made, PB Blaster. Now my saw blade is good and tight, so it's not, see, I can slide it right on out. Zingo, no gap. Just very, very little, because I use that as like a gauge for the, I mean, there's just a hairline. You can play with it and do it without doing all that, but we'll get that going. Snap that around like so. Oh, it's not click shut all the way. See? Working great. These magazines are probably a little wore out. See, when they get older, they just do that. There it went. And I'm back together. So that's the frustration I ran into. I actually pulled the barrel almost to where there was maybe just a small amount left sticking out of this piece right here, and was able to put the barrel nut in, played with it, finally got it where everything was snug. But I thought the little gauge, you know, these are pretty thin. A good gap gauging set, like for like they got on cars back in the day when you had to gap your plugs or your points or things like that, would be perfect. So now we're back together and we're looking good. So that's how you change out the barrels on the Daisy Model 44. I'm going to crack this loose very quickly, just like we showed. Very, very smooth. I'm doing this outside. I was actually going to do this inside, but the lighting wasn't so good, and I kind of had the, like I said, had the dropsies yesterday. Much warmer out at that time, and I don't know why I don't have this problem with the 12-inch like I do with the 8-inch like I did with the 6-inch. But we'll pop this back out. Remove the magazine. We're very quickly going to unscrew this barrel, like so. You know, I mentioned back when I did the original video that I wanted to get the pack, and boy did I ever. I mean, I've got the instruction manuals, all kinds of paperwork. You know, I got things like this with it, the instruction manual. I got 2 of those kits for the thing. Here was the original paperwork for the 8-inch barrel, the shooting for safety manual. Oh, some bit me in the ear. Now we're going to reverse ourselves. We're going to set this guy over here so it's out of the way. So we'll grab the 8-inch. We'll slide this together. Well, I say I'm going to. Now remember, just take your time with this. Fine thread, it'd be very easy to cross thread. So we're in. I'm screwing it in. Yesterday I couldn't get it past that point. It was very stiff. It kept hanging on, very frustrating. And yeah, I got a little bit of short temper. That looks like about where I want to be. We'll grab our gauging tool. We're going to slide it in there. I'm just at the gauging tool right there. I hope you can see that right there. And you could probably, if you turn any more than that, you're going to trap the gauging tool. You want to just touch the gauging tool, like so. Slides out. Set it over there. We're going to grab our 8. I'm sorry, never mind. Yeah, 8-inch. I don't know why I keep getting numbers messed up. I'm a little challenged. Maybe a lot challenged. We're going to get this barrel centered up. Again, this is the hard part. Just take your time. I've done this a few times, so and maybe some of the thread on the 6-inch is a little hanging, because this one seems to go on very smooth for me. I'll have to get I've got a tool that cleans the threads up a little bit, and we might want to do that, so maybe it doesn't. See, I can do that with my finger. On the 6-inch, it was just hanging just a hair, which may cause the barrel to turn and go inward. Not quite sure. We're going to turn this in like so. We're going to lock it down again. Don't go crazy with it. We will put our turn around the right way. We'll put our mag back in, and perfect. Right on the money. So now you've officially learned how to change the barrels on this gun. We're going to use this barrel for the shooting review, but it looks like that. Later on I might put the 4-inch on and do another shooting review. You've seen how it handled with the 6, fully adjustable sights. so I have to play with it. I just wanted to share that with you. I've seen a couple of videos on these on YouTube, but I didn't have anybody really explaining how to get them off. One guy said, oh, you just do this, this, and this. It's not very explanatory, but you know, I read the instructions. Yeah, I actually read the instructions, and then I got the, you know, this one on real easy. But when I wanted to put the 6 in, that's the problem I ran into. So I just dreamed of a way to gauge it out myself so that would trap into that. So you just bring it back a little ways. So when it actually touches that saw blade, it's got a little freedom, just like you would with the gap gauging tool. Stuck it all back together, and we're in. So I wanted to share that with you. I'm very, very happy. This is in very, very good condition. No chips, no nothing. I have yet to fit a CO2 in it, but I'm willing to bet you it works. So that's how you do that. That's how we do it at the Flying Can Ranch. And we are going to get back with you in just a little bit.